talking about.
Hi, this is Paul Metz. I want to talk to you about our great first season of shows on the Wall of Power TV. Actors, musicians, cool people from all walks of life.
Let's stick with cool people from all walks of life in all 50 states.
Right.
So yeah, we're starting our second year,
Right.
as we are, legitimately. So you can say for the last 2 years.
Right. Or for the last year.
For the last year, all right. So where there will be some images. So you can just run through as many of those as you want.
Yeah. We got to put this right here, though.
Energy's good? Yes, you do. Okay, let me make sure it's in the shot. Yeah, I can't believe it. I think Yoko threw me off.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Paul Metza, and I'm very proud to tell you about the almost year-long series of shows we've had on the Wall of Power TV.
Well, no one knows like they last a year, so.
Yeah.
In the past year,
Yeah.
we've brought the Wall of Power TV to television.
Like the radio show, we've had cool people from all walks of life and from all 50 states.
Including,
And a selection of guests
yeah,
that you might not find anywhere else on your broadcast dial.
damn straight. And then we can just go right into it. So yeah, the more of those that I have that I can use, then
Yeah.
the more different that they can be. And then each one will have a different group of guests.
Yeah, so I won't even mention the guests because I'd get too confused.
Yeah, no, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Should I take it from cool people from all walks
No,
of
you
life?
should start over.
Okay.
Because now that we don't do the images over top of you,
Right.
it's harder to cut, bits and pieces.
Okay.
And move them around. So
All right.
It's almost got to be one thing.
All right.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Paul Metza, and I'm excited to tell you that in the last year we brought my radio show, The Wall of Power Radio Hour, to TV. It's called Wall of Power TV. Like the radio show, we've had cool people from all walks of life and from all 50 states. It's one of the few places on your broadcast dial that you can find actors, musicians, comedians, authors, writers, and just all around groovy people. We bring it here every week on MCN6. You never know what to expect, but we're going to save you a seat and you can find out for yourself. The outside part of the office, just in case somebody. So what I do, Chris, is I tape this like we're doing it in my radio show, because occasionally I will use this.
You are Paul.
All right. Whoops, go back a little bit. I didn't hop on in the beginning. Okay, let me hit my stopwatch, my trusty stopwatch here.
Visual for Justified.
Okay.
So pick it up at and also.
Okay, or I could just take it from he is also. Let's do he has also appeared. Then just go up
further?
2 lines. Yeah, just so.
Okay.
Yeah, he has also appeared on Boardwalk Empire, right there.
And Steve,
Bald guy, dark hair.
yeah.
Really.
I can't-
Anyway, he appeared with Joe and Chen, and I was like, "You got to hook me up."
We're surrounded by extremely hot actresses.
oh my God! And I was married.
This is the part.
I was
This is
married
actually
to-
the part that's going to be on TV.
I was married too, and I was such a good guy. Oh my God!
Better Call Saul, and has acted since the mid-1970s. His first TV appearance on the TV show Beretta, and also had a reoccurring.
If you lose the reoccurring, it just goes and also played
The notorious Hank
Jennings
Jennings.
on Twin Peaks.
Yeah. Okay, so take it back. Yeah.
The reoccurring is
Right.
You're qualifying. It makes it crazy.
Right. Had a great cameo on Better Call Saul lately. Now
Most recently appeared.
yeah, most recently appeared. There we go. Thank
Bunch
you.
of movies coming up. We're going to talk about all of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. He appeared, okay, ready? He appeared on Boardwalk Empire, Friday Night Lights, Boomtown and Justified. All right. Without any further ado, which one am I on? 1? Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the premiere show of the 2018 Wall of Power TV season. I'm your host, Paul Metzen. I'm delighted to have as my guest actor and musician Chris Mulkey, who grew up in the wilds of St. Paul, Minnesota. He's appeared in Captain Phillips, Patty Rocks, Against the Wall, Cloverfield, the NBC TV movie Knight Rider, and 24. He appeared on Boardwalk Empire, Friday Night Lights, Boomtown and Justified, was recently on Better Call Saul as well. He has acted since the mid-1970s, his first TV appearance on Beretta, and was also the notorious Hank Jennings on the original Twin Peaks. We're going to talk about his start in the entertainment biz, his music as well, and all of his current projects. Without any further ado, my good friend, Chris Mulkey. Chris, thanks for being here.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
We had a great show last night. I played at the Como Conservatory with my new bass player, Cody McKinney. How good was he?
Ooh, baby, baby.
And he lives right across the street from me, Northeast.
What?
And then, so Chris did a couple of tunes.
I did.
And we played a couple together. What a wonderful facility that place is.
Oh, the Como Conservatory is amazing. And my new bass player, Paul Metza, played with me.
Thank you. First time in 20 years, by the way.
It was great. You were great.
Well, I started out with Tony Perpich and the Perpetones up on the Iron Range, played bass.
I have all their records.
Yeah. So, but it was fun, man. That was a great, some tunes.
Some tunes into North Country, and you sent me a bunch of your CDs, and I went, oh, I mean, there's just, that was all the music. They could have just done you.
Right.
That would have been great.
But who did they get, Chris?
Bob Dylan.
That other folk singer from...
You tell me over and over and over, my friend, don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. I mean, who doesn't love Bob Dylan?
Which is Barry McGuire, but anyway.
Is he really?
We were well, that's Eve of Destruction by Barry McGuire. Same deal, though.
Same deal. Really? Oh, God. I'm bad.
That's okay. It was a great Dylan imitation. Hey, it's early, man. We're taping this early on Monday, January 8th.
There you go. So to that, I get confused a little bit.
Folk rock, we're all the same.
I'm amazed that I've kind of Mr. Magoo'd my way through my career. To that, okay, Liberty Crossing, which drops tomorrow, Road.
Which is why we're here. One of the big reasons why we're here to talk about this great thing.
So Liberty Crossing, hilarious. I've had a couple TV series. Most recently, I did a movie with Charlie Sheen called Mad Families.
Really?
Which is a great movie.
Is he still out of his mind?
He's one of the greatest guys you're ever going to meet.
Really?
That's totally hype. He's great. That being said, I drank tequila with him. But he's great. And Finesse Mitchell from Saturday Night Live, and all these guys from SLN.
SNL.
Exactly that one too.
Mr. Magoo.
And the Sioux Line. So we did the movie, and that was really funny. And so I got a call. I was driving into Beverly Hills from Venice, where I live, and Siri is going, turn left on Beverly Boulevard. You've gone past it, 200 yards, make a U-turn.
Right.
And she's talking to me, my agent is on the phone. My agent goes, Chris, where are you? I said, I'm going to do this table read for this political thriller, right? And so I got to find this thing, and they said, well, just listen to me. They want you on Liberty Crossing. I said, what's Liberty Crossing? It's a half-hour sitcom.
You didn't know if that was Siri telling you to turn on Liberty Crossing?
I didn't know, because my agents sound a lot like Siri. And so they listen just about as much, too.
Right.
I said, I don't really do sitcoms too much, but I did a really funny sitcom for a year with Brian Doyle Murray called Bakersfield.
Bill Murray's younger
brother.
or older brother?
He's his older brother, but not by much.
Yeah.
So Brian wrote Caddyshack and Groundhog Day.
Wow.
And was a writer on, of course, Ghostbusters and blah, blah, blah. So, but Brian and I did that TV series together. And so I've got funny. I got funny. But I don't do it much. I kill people.
But you can do funny.
I can do funny.
Hi, this is Paul Metzen, inviting you to watch a great new episode on Wall of Power TV this weekend. My guest, Al Milgram, is the prime mover and helped create what we know now as the Minnesota film scene. He started the University of Minnesota Film Society in 1962, was a driving force behind that until 2012. He also founded the Minneapolis-St. Paul International Film Festival in 1981. There's no one in town that knows more about international films than Al Milgram. He's also a filmmaker, and we will be watching some of his work as well. He's a fascinating character. I moved to town in 1978 where I bumped into him. Al's 94 years old and still rocking it big time. You're going to love this show on Wall of Power TV. We'll save you a seat. Hi, this is Paul Metza inviting you to watch a great new episode of Wall of Power TV this weekend. We feature longtime Replacements roadie and now author Bill Sullivan. Bill's written a great book called Lemon Jail: On the Road with the Replacements. You're going to hear some great stories about the rise of the Replacements, what rock and roll was really like in the do-it-yourself era in the 1980s. Bill's time owning a bar on the West Bank called the 400 Bar, and other great people he's rubbed shoulders with over the years. Bill's a fascinating character, one of the most colorful in town. You're really going to love it. Wall of Power TV this weekend will save you a seat. Hi, this is Paul Metza, host of Wall of Power TV. Every weekend, Saturday nights on Metro Cable Channel 6. We've got a great new band we're going to present to you for the first time in the Metro area television arena. Roman and Royce Mars. They're going to be playing around town here all summer long, but we're going to preview their new record, see some video, talk about who influenced them, why they got into this crazy rock and roll business, and what they're planning to do. They're really a terrific new band, and you're going to see them here for the first time on television on Wall of Power TV every Saturday night at 8 and 11:30 mcn6.org. We'll save you a seat.
Hi, I'm Royce Mars.
And I am Roman Mars,
We are two of the Carnegies. We are upcoming band playing around the city.
and you can catch us on Paul Metz's Wall of Power. Shoot, it's harder than
We'll save you a seat.
get into the
We had a
loop of
good
it.
conversation, you know. Hi, I'm Royce Mars.
And I am Roman Mars.
We are two of the Carnegies. We have a new album out. Here we go. We're starting again. Hi, I'm Royce Mars.
And I am Roman Mars.
We are two of the Carnegies. We have our new album, No Signs of Warning. We are going to be playing around town.
That was mine.
That's true, it was.
We'll be playing around in the summertime around 331 Club a lot, and you can catch us this weekend on Paul Metz's Wall of Power.
Roman and Royce Mars will save you a seat.
Okay. Oh, we're so sorry.
We're so
Andy.
bad at this
We are
part.
so-
And we're going to be on Paul Metz's Wall of Power TV this weekend.
We talked about how the band started, our story, our influences, Chris Mars, our good old uncle. So we're very excited for you to see it.
Solving world peace, hippy dippy stuff.
That's right.
Love,
Flower Power.
and we'll save you a seat.
Hi, this is Paul Metza inviting you to watch a great new episode of Wall of Power TV this weekend. We feature Terry Katzman. Terry was one of the initial guys to start working with Husker Du in 1978 and 1979. He's here to talk about a great new 4-record set, along with a book called Savage Young Du, 69-track recording of Husker Du from 1979 to 1982. We not only talk about the beginnings and the rise of Husker Du, but also the Minneapolis rock and roll scene. Goofy's Upper Deck, The Longhorn, Orfolk Jokibus, Peter Jesperson, The Replacements, and more. Terry's about one of the most knowledgeable men in Minneapolis rock and roll, and we have him on for the whole show on MCN6. Terry Katzman on Wall of Power TV with your host Paul Metza will save you a seat. So, when did you actually start working with them then?
Yeah, I met them and they were loading into the Longhorn. And I met Grant Hart first, and sat and talked for a while, and then he said, "Come on inside, I'll introduce you to our guitar player, Bob." And I can't remember where I met Greg. It must have been shortly thereafter, but I just remember the two of them initially. But it started there, and then I started, working with them in their office that they sort of had established, and then started to run sound for them probably in the late fall of all during 1980 is when the ascent started,
Right.
as far as my involvement and doing sound for them in the entry. Once they moved over from the Longhorn, that's when I really became involved, because that's when I was a house sound person for Steve McClellan in the 7th Street entry. So I got to work with them and Replacements and a number of other bands, but my focus was with them after a fairly short while, shall we say.
Well, you were kind of, in a way, although they were self-managed to a certain degree, and I know Bob was kind of the prime mover from what I know about him, and had the pleasure of knowing Bob over the years, but you wore just about a lot of hats. You were a record label guy, you were a sound guy, a little bit of a manager.
I was more of a fan that ended up really working for them.
Right.
I mean, I wasn't really management material for them.
Right.
And they were, at that point, a do-it-yourself management. They were managing themselves. Later on, when they got David, it was a different story, but at that time period, they were self-managed, and I just sort of was pulled into the tsunami of all of it, just from my fandom of the band, and then
Right.
it sort of just moved on from there. As far
So
as working
was
with
that
them.
night at the Longhorn, was that the very first time you had heard them play?
Yeah. Yep.
What did
on
you
it.
think? What was your feeling?
That they were this funny little pop group that seemed a little bit confrontational, but kind of gentle in a really
Right.
really strange way. I mean, I went on the recommendation of Chris Osgood. He told me to go down and see this band that played Johnny Thunder songs that I'd really like. That's how I end up actually seeing them for the first time.
And Osgood used to, from the Suicide Commandos, of course, the guitar player, didn't he used to give Bob Mould guitar lessons?
Yes, there's
For a while?
there's the story. I think it's been printed before that he had like 2 lessons, and
Right.
then I think Chris said, "I think you've got it now." So, but I mean, yeah, he was a student. Definitely a student of Chris's for a very short time. Okay, do you still want me to give a personal introduction? Should I just start with this?
No,
then?
I want you to do a personal introduction, so they know who you are.
Yeah, and then we'll do one for your specific episode this weekend.
Okay.
And then we'll start right on that as soon as Andy gets done.
Okay.
Yeah, we're actually going to run it this weekend. Because I'm working on one for Adam Levy, but I don't think it's going to be done. It's got a lot of music, good things I need to cut in there. And that is not there. Saturday nights on
MCN.
MCN 6. Okay.
We'll try it again.
So again, the nature of Paul
Yeah.
and the show is that we're it's kind of a little history lesson
Oh, sure, yeah.
in a way, and we're trying to
Cool.
bring people, and he's very nice. That's actually damn good. Damn good. Yeah, we'll do another one. And then I want one.
All right, here. Yeah, the group. No, we'll go past there. We'll go. Well, I'll take it from right there. Stop right there. I'll just do the whole damn thing. I'll get it. We'll get a nice flow going here.
It's all good, my friend.
It was really good, though.
Yeah. Here we go.
Yeah, it was really good.
All right. 5, 4, 3. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wall of Power TV. I'm your host, Paul Metza. I am very excited to have my good friend, Mr. Gary Hines, in the studio with me all night tonight. Gary is one of the finest musicians in the Twin Cities and director of the Sounds of Blackness, an ensemble he has led since 1971. Sounds of Blackness is a Grammy Award-winning vocal and instrumental ensemble from Minneapolis, St. Paul. They perform music from several genres, including gospel, R&B, soul, and jazz. The group scored several hits on the Billboard R&B chart and Billboard Hot Dance Music Club Play chart in the 1990s. They have over a dozen recordings out. They've worked with Prince in the studio and on movie soundtracks, and they have a great show coming up on December 23rd at the Fitzgerald Theater, their annual holiday show. With no further ado, my friend, Mr. Gary Hines. Okay, now we'll just kind of cut there.
Groovy. Doesn't get better than that.
It sure doesn't.
How about that? Yeah, man.
So now how we do this is I record 4 segments, kind of like I'm doing the radio show, because if I can, I'm going to use this on my radio show too. And this saves editing time.
I got you.
So I do a 12, a 9, a 13:30, and an 8:50.
Okay.
So then I just kind of, until we get enough money to get a nice digital clock with seconds.
He uses his phone.
Yeah.
Which I make him push out of the way so that it doesn't reflect in his glasses.
Oh my God, it's always something, isn't
So
it?
now the coffee cup can go wherever you want it to. I
Oh,
just
okay.
didn't
Oh, no,
want
no,
it,
just-
you
that's
know,
cool.
the
Oh, no,
sec-
yeah.
That was a great intro, man.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Golden. We start, we stop, we rock and roll.
They used to use it
Oh,
for
my
promos,
goodness.
and it used to play something.
Music Land.
But when I was thinking about, before I got my radio show about almost 4 years ago, but I used to be in radio in high school, first year at JC, and then I approached AM 950, 10 years ago or so. And so I just stumbled on that. So that's always been kind of my touchstone. I had it on a counter and said, one of these days I'm going to have a radio show. And now I do.
How
and
about
a TV
that?
show.
Yep.
So yeah, it's that old school vibe.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, are you ready, Andy?
Yeah, we're gonna open on this one, Paul.
Number 2?
We're gonna open on the single.
Okay, that's fine. Before we started taping tonight,
Yeah.
you were telling me about how you'd get a call at 3 in the morning. Talk about that. That was so cool.
Okay, so Prince, like we all do, had some quirks about him. So one was, and it was really funny, and he was actually quite a funny guy too. Despite how long we knew each other, he would still say your full name.
Right.
So call, 2 or 3 in the morning, phone ring. Not are you awake or is this a bad time? Just Gary Hines. How are you, Gary Hines? I said, oh, hey, how you doing? I would usually call him Maestro. I said, how you doing, Maestro? I have this idea for Sounds of Blackness, Gary Hines. And I said, that's okay, man. And so these conversations, they would just happen. So it got to the point where the phone rings at 2 or 3 in the morning. It's probably him. He's probably got some
It's
musical
Maestro.
idea. Got it, the Maestro. And our conversations. We talk a lot about God and religion, of course about music, sports. He was a huge Viking and a huge sports fan, and talk about beautiful women.
Right.
Not necessarily in that order. so-
Right.
Yeah.
So when did you actually now record with them for the first time? And then tell us a little bit about, you worked with him on the Batman movie, on that soundtrack.
Right. Okay. Certainly. And actually, Batman was the first time actually at Paisley recording. I mean, like doing a full blown out. And it's great that you asked that, Paul, because at the time, a couple of funny, quick things about
Sure.
that. I got a 2 or 3 o'clock call in the morning kind of thing. Gary Hines says, sometime want Sounds of Blackness record with me on. Oh, great, Maestro, thank you. Can you? And I'll never forget, it was a Halloween, and I'll think of the year in just a
Sure.
minute. The session was going to be on Halloween kind of thing. And I later in the day, got in touch with the group, said we're going to Paisley, we're excited, we're going to.
And this was for the Batman project?
But I'm glad you
Okay,
say that because
okay.
that reminds me to say, and because I asked him, I said, hey, man, what's the name of the song? I can't tell you what it is, it's top secret. So we at the time didn't know
I mean, everything about Batman was under wraps.
Right.
We didn't know that it was for the movie,
Right.
what the song title was, whatever kind of thing. So
It's cool you were going to record on Halloween, though. It was like, you know.
I mean, he was
what I mean?
Batman,
Yeah,
you know,
right,
kind of
right,
thing, you know.
exactly.
Even though that's kind of
The
David
middle of the
Island's
night,
nickname.
the bat, image in the clouds. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and he says, yes, well, I'll only need a couple hours. Of course, we were there all night.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
you know
right,
that how that goes. So everybody canceled all their Halloween plans. All kind. And what it went so well, we did the first song, and then we did a second one as well. But we still didn't know. It was kind of a mystery, and there was all these people standing around. Found out later, of course, these were like studio filming.
Right,
It was like,
right.
what's going on? It wasn't an ominous thing. It was just kind of exciting.
Right.
And then finally, I think like a month later, he could tell me what it was for and all that right before the release. But
Yeah. Ready? Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Metzer, the host of Wall of Power TV. We have a great new episode this weekend featuring phenomenal African musician Siama and his wife Dallas Johnson.
Hold on.
Siama Montezuma-Giddy.
That was my mistake. We were still
That's
on
okay.
Camera. We're still on camera 2. So
That's all right.
do a
No big
30
deal.
And a 60, but you're really smooth. You're really
Okay.
good. All right.
Ready?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Wall of... Oh. Hi, everybody. No, I got to contact Frog. Hi, everybody. My name is Paul Metzer. I want to invite you to watch the Wall of Power TV this weekend. We feature great African musician Siama, who tells about his beginnings in Zaire, how he started to learn how to play guitar, his first club dates over there, how he started to record, became a big star in the DR Republic of which is the DR of Congo.
The DR of Congo.
Yeah. All right, one more time. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Metzer, host of Wall of Power TV. We have a great new episode this weekend with African musician Siama and his wife, Dallas. Talk about his beginnings in Zaire, playing in the clubs, playing on recordings, and how he ended up in Minneapolis, Minnesota after losing a bet. This Saturday night, we'll save you a seat.
All right. We're gonna use the same thing. I'm gonna because the sizzle reel then. So in this case, you'll be talking.
Tell me when, Andy. All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wall of Power TV. I'm your host, Paul Metzer. We have our first international guest in the studio for this season. Well, let me start that again. I usually have a teleprompter, and I'm not as smart as I used to be. Number 2, all right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wall of Power TV. I'm your host, Paul Metzer. We have our first bona fide international guest in the studio with us for the whole show tonight. Siama Montezuma-Giddy is from the Democratic Republic of Congo. Or is it Democratic?
Well, you can say, you said it right, or you could say DR Congo is the easier way.
Yeah,
Either way.
but I
is
think
fine.
it makes more sense to white people if they say Democratic Republic of Congo
In Central Africa.
in Central Africa.
Okay. He wants to brush your coat. Just
Oh, okay.
You got a little schmutz up here, which I just now took care of. But he's gonna come back with a brush.
Well, that's my Iron Range brother.
A little schmutz, we can't have that.
It shows up on cameras. Big schmutz. And it looks like everybody's car out there now. All right. Thank you, sir.
Well, I've left it in the office for about 6 months. I haven't taken it to the dry
You
cleaner.
don't wear it every day?
I actually like wearing suit coats.
Familiar. I don't know. I guess I've been around a while. You have too, right?
I have done a lot of things.
This program is brought to you in part by Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Wall of Power TV. I'm your host, Paul Metzer. We've been on the air for about 3/4 of a year, but tonight we have our first international guest. Siama Matazungiti is from the Democratic Republic of the Congo in Central Africa. I met he and his wife, Dallas, about a year ago at the Women's March, almost a year to this weekend. Siama is a prolific composer and guitarist. He has performed with many of the greats and was a sought-after studio musician, recording hundreds of popular songs during the golden era of soukous music in the 70s and 80s in Africa. His signature sound and commitment to innovation helped to fuel the popularization of soukous, aka the sound of happiness, which is ubiquitous on dance floors the world over to this day. With no further ado, Siama and Dallas. Great to see you.
Oh, great to be here.
You guys already played today somewhere.
Siam.
Yes, I did. We did play at the Treasure Island event in St. Paul.
Nice.
They did buy some nice, beautiful place maybe for offices. Then we have to open for it.
Well, I'm so glad we have some time tonight to get to know each other a little better, because we met briefly at the Women's March and then briefly on the radio show that we shared with Kate Redden from the Women's March. A sip of Joe. Cheers, man. Let's have some fun.
You bet. Some Iron Range fun.
Yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wall of Power TV. I'm your host, Paul Metza. I have a guest from my hometown tonight who's done very well for himself in the film business in Los Angeles. Craig Muckler was born in 1953 in the Mesabi Range town of Virginia, Minnesota, the Queen City as we call it. Okay, let me do that again. I got to the stutter part and I started to stutter.
See, happens to everybody.
All right. Okay, take two. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Wall of Power TV. I'm your host, Paul Metza. I have a great guest in the studio tonight. He happens to be from my hometown. Craig Muckler was born in 1953 in the Mesabi Range town of Virginia, Minnesota, which they referred to as the Queen City up there on the range. He was born with a stutter and a determination to overcome it. As a result, he was part of a rock band in high school. I used to go see them, called the Winds of Change. Craig moved to Los Angeles to try to make it in showbiz. He was part of the company that produced Malibu High and tried his hand at everything he could, including acting to script writing, succeeding with the cult classic Microwave Massacre. A friend and local Access TV producer, Michael Morrison, encouraged him to host his own show and named it for him Craig Muckler's Hollywood Showcase. Among the guests Craig had on the show, comedian Jackie Vernon, actors Aldo Ray, William Sanderson, Misty Rowe, and Bo Svensson. He has a new film that just showed at the Parkway Theater and 3 other major theaters in Los Angeles called A Taboo Identity. We're going to talk about how he got involved in this crazy biz, a little bit about our hometown, and see what else he has cooking. Craig, welcome to the Wall of Power TV.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here, especially 2 guys from Virginia. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Well, I remember going to see your band. You're a few years older than me. The Winds of Change.
Thank you.
At a lot of the places that my band, Damn Everything with the Circus, played, the armories, the high schools, parking lots at shopping centers.
Exactly.
This and that.
Picnics.
Picnics, right. North Side and South Side Park.
Right.
So, back in high school, who influenced you to sort of to have the feel for literature, art, English, and theater?
Well, actually, believe it or not, born and raised in Virginia, Minnesota, my parents had a cabin on beautiful Lake Vermilion. And just by chance, my grandparents would visit California, became friends with, her name was Kay Olson and Joe Olson. And when I was like 3, 4 years old, Kay Olson became like my grandmother to me.
Okay.
And I was like the grandson she would never have. That happened to be her son was the most famous, most handsome actor in the world, Rock Hudson.
Wow. I remember hearing about it
Yes.
back in the day. But it was always kind of, we said, oh yeah, Rock Hudson's on Lake Vermilion. We go, no, he's not. But his grandmother certainly was. Did
Well,
rock ever
his
get him?
mom.
Okay.
And what happened? I had a bad stutter as an early age, and as an early age, I was maybe in part because of her influence. Rock Hudson, this he'd called our cabin. Hi, Rock. I mean, it was like family.
Right.
You know, he was like, "Hey, Craig, how's it going up there? Where's my mom?" You know, I mean, it was honest to God.
Right.
And I had this stutter, and I decided I want to be in movies.
And his love of fuck that. I forget. Do I do the? You can do it right here. Yeah, but I go. This is, welcome to the Wall of Power TV. This is Paul Metsa, and then I do that.
Yes.
We've been doing reruns, so I'm a little foggy. All right, here we go. 5. Oh, we're just going to do this, yeah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wall of Power TV show. I'm your host, Paul Metsa. We have a great guest tonight, a Minnesota native. Matt Goldman is an Emmy Award-winning television writer-producer. He was also nominated for a Writers Guild Award. Credits include Seinfeld, Ellen, Coach, and The New Adventures of Old Christine. He is currently in production on Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. Matt splits his time between Minneapolis and Los Angeles. He has 2 kids and a giant poodle that does not have a poodle haircut because those are embarrassing for everyone. Gone to Dust is his first novel. It's a fantastic read. It was recently published by Forge on August 15th, 2017. With no further ado, Matt Goldman. Matt, thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I finished the book this morning.
Stand by.
Oh, okay.
We're doing the intro, then we're stopping.
We're going to have a great show tonight with my guest, Matt Goldman. Matt, thanks for being on the Wall of Power TV show.
Thanks for having me.
We were talking a little bit while we were getting the microphones ready for the show tonight. And you are an Edina native.
Well, I lived in Edina for 7 years. But
You achieved Edina.
I achieved Edina. Stand-up was new. Cable TV
Right.
hadn't proliferated yet. And people in smaller towns were a little afraid of it. And they didn't want to get heckled by a comedian. And so they were a little back on their heels when they went to these shows. Curious, but cautious.
Right.
And so I would get up there, and I was 21 and looked 15 and had this squeaky clean act that was about my childhood and nothing offensive, and they'd get nice and relaxed.
Right.
And then Tom would come up there and slay them, just
Mow 'em
obliterate
down.
them, insult old ladies sitting in the front row. And yeah, it was kind of a cruel joke.
But Arnold was, you and I chatted a little about this before the taping tonight, was one of the quickest minds.
Great stand-up.
On stage.
Great stand-up.
Yeah.
His persona almost overpowered how good of a stand-up he is.
Right.
Yeah.
And 2, let's talk a little bit about that time. You know what, Andy, I've got to stop. I don't know where I'm going. I forgot to hit my timer. Can you see how much time we've got? People coming through JR's Comedy Gallery, Jerry Seinfeld, Roseanne Barr, Jay Leno.
Yep.
Right? So, and then the local comedian, Sid Youngers, went on to be a great writer in Los Angeles.
Absolutely. Mike Gandolfi.
Right.
Don Foster. A lot of Minnesota talent.
Joel Hodgson.
Joel Hodgson, very much.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you were also playing in a rock and roll band too, right?
In high school, I played in a band called The Panic.
Okay.
Matt Wilson was in that band, and a guy named Jimmy Harry, who's a songwriter in LA now. And we would play it.
That was right before the Wilson Brothers had Trip Shakespeare, right?
That was right before. I think E. Brown was in between. There was a
Okay.
band called E. Brown. But yeah, I was 15 when we first started playing there, and we would play our set, and then they'd kick us out because we were so young. But we were around the Hipsters and Husker Du and the Replacements and Curtis A., and it was a fascinating time.
And you know, the thing about Johnny Carson, he was like so many, you know, Marlon Brando, James Dean, great Midwestern guys.
Great Midwestern guy.
Right, with that Midwestern work ethic.
Yep.
And he, you know, started out as a magician, always so well dressed. And there's something that always stuck with me when the legend has it, and I believe it's true, when Johnny would put on a suit to get ready for the show, he'd never sit down again until the show started because he wanted to look like his pants were neatly pressed.
Wow, I bet that's true.
Yeah.
When I met him, he was standing up. It was before the show.
There you go. We've got Matt Goldman on the Wall of Power TV show all night tonight. We're going to talk about his great new book, Gone to Dust, in the next segment. Stick around. We'll be here after these messages. Oh, that was perfect.
I like the thing about bringing the Wall of Power radio to TV. Interesting guests from all walks of life. Conversation with cameras. Here are some of our guests, or we've been honored to have some of these people sit in.
Right, and then I'll stop.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, we got to do a tail end.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Hi, I'm Paul Metza, and I'm excited to tell you about what we've been doing here on MCN6 for the last year. We brought my radio show, the Wall of Power Radio Hour, to TV, to your living room, weekly on Saturday nights. Like the radio show, Wall of Power TV features cool people from all walks of life and from all 50 states. We've had actors, musicians, comedians, authors, and just all around groovy people. It's a conversation with cameras. Here's a list of just a few of our guests. Wall of Power TV, we promise to keep bringing you great shows weekly, taped and broadcast from the heart of Northeast Minneapolis, the coolest neighborhood in the United States of America. Every Saturday night at 8 p.m. and 11 p.m. Wall of Power TV brought to you every week, twice on Saturday nights, taped and broadcast from the heart of Northeast Minneapolis, the coolest neighborhood in the United States of America. We continue to bring you great shows every week, and we promise to always save you a seat.
You want to do one more?
Yeah, let's say something about Wall of Power TV. You're not going to find a collection of guests like this anywhere on the local broadcast dial.
Making a little bit of history.
Yeah. I want to say, too, these are kind of my love letters to Minneapolis.
Sure, and if you don't mind, you can say, I've been in the metro area for 30 years. I've met a lot of people along the way, and we're going to bring those people to you.
Right.
On the show, conversation with cameras. You can, mention that again if you want.
Right. All right. Wall of Power TV, every Saturday night at MCN6. For me, Paul Metza, they're like love letters to Minneapolis, highlighting some of the great people I've met in my over 3 decades of performing in the Twin Cities. We promise to bring interesting people, cool people from all walks of life and from all 50 states, conversations with cameras every week from Northeast Minneapolis. We'll save you a seat.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
I think that's all I need.
Good work today, Andy.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what we were going to do with him at first, because we're not used to someone with